call to order the Board of County Commissioners work session for January 6, 2015. Happy New Year. Thanks for coming. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance and salute to the flag. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, as the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. And Mr. Turrieta, you want to join the other electeds?
I've been looking at that for a year. Trying those Eagles go. I knew someone would come and complain.
Okay. First item on the agenda is to approve the work session agenda. Is there any changes need to come before?
So moved.
I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The purpose of the county work session is to inform the Grant County Board of Commissioners of the agenda items that will be addressed at the next regular meeting, and for the department heads and other elected officials to communicate with the commissioners in regard to matters in their respective departments. In accordance with the Grant County Resolution 1401, we welcome the public to attend the county work session. However, there will be no public comment permitted at this meeting. So at this time, we will go into reviewing the January 8th regular meeting agenda. Madam Manager?
First item on the agenda would be the election approval of the chairman for the 2015 calendar year. Moving on, then you have public hearings for the ordinances which were introduced at the last meeting. First public hearing would be for the consideration of ordinance number 15-01, which is consideration of the tax rebate to benefit low-income property taxpayers. Any questions or further information on that?
Reread it again yesterday.
Okay. Next item would be public hearing for consideration of ordinance number 15-02, which is to grant a franchise for cable services to Comcast. That was pretty self-explanatory, unless you've got questions on that. Just jump in there and take it. Next item, public hearing for consideration of ordinance number 15-03, which is to allow connection to public sanitary sewer in the ETZ of the town of Silver City. This was part of to allow a grant for the town of Silver City to allow approximately 162 residents to be hooked up to the city sewer off of Ridge Road. Any more questions or information on that?
That's the ordinance that requires them to hook up to it, right?
Yes. Just a
We discussed it at the last meeting, and
There was a little change, wasn't there?
Mr. Chairman, there was a small language change. Just for clarification, on page 3 of the ordinance, if you look at the first full paragraph B on page 3, are you there?
Okay.
We're a little more specific. It says, for owners required to connect to the public sanitary sewer of the town under the town of Silver City's Ridge Road East Sewer Extension Project, which is the project that Charlene was describing, whose project area includes existing residents located along Mobile Drive, Mountain View Drive, Skyview Drive, Pheasant Drive, North Pheasant Drive, and Grand Mesa Road. The normal $1,300 fee for such connection will be waived, and such owners will receive up to $1,500 for each home to abandon their septic tank. Owners may be held responsible for additional costs. All other owners will be subject to all fees required by the town of Silver City. And what we did is we just were more specific as to who was going to get the fee waiver, which is those who fall within this project that Silver City is working on.
okay.
That's what it was.
Where's that $1,500 coming from?
It's part of their grant.
Okay. Go ahead and move on to item 8.
The minutes are self-explanatory. We'll move on to financial reports. Linda?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Charlene. In front of you is an expenditure report for the period ending January 5th, 2015. And included in this are some AP checks, beginning with check number 172904 and ending with check number 173244, for a total of $1,060,634.15. Included in these AP checks is two payments to Southwest Solid Waste Authority. It is for the October and November tipping fees. October was $42,796.76. November was $35,623.90. There was a payment to Engineers, Inc. for the North Hurley Road project in the amount of $27,658.73. There's a payment in the amount of $22,809.37, and this is to WH Pacific Incorporated for the airport action plan. And there's a final payment to Zacaton Construction for the Tyrone Fire Department addition in the amount of $27,542.81. There is a payment to Gila Regional Medical Center in the amount of $82,236.61. And this is for the inmate indigent fund care for November. And there is a payment in the amount of $30,536.07 to Jeff Wood, and that is to purchase and install 3 new pumps on 3 units at the Upper Ranges Fire Department. There's an annual service on the PA Fire Department fire trucks, and it also includes service and towing of a fire pumper at Hachita Fire Station. Also included in this expenditure report is pay period number 25, which is a total of $217,716.28. Payroll period number 24, and that's for $208,668.64, and the fiscal year 2015 clothing allowance in the amount of $32,256.73, and this is as per the union contract. So the total payroll expenses for this reporting period is $458,641.65. So the grand total that you're approving here is $1,519,275.80.
Thank you, Linda. Any questions on the expenditure report? No. Let's move into the cash flow analysis then, please.
The general fund November cash flow analysis, actually ending November 30th, 2014. The actual cash balance at July 1, 2014 was $2,353,926. The revenues year-to-date are $2,989,590. The operating expenditures to date is $1,146,644, and salaries and benefits to date is $2,476,486. The actual cash balance is $1,720,386, and this was as of November 30th. The projected transfers in through the end of the fiscal year is $614,683. The projected transfers out are $3,729,000. Projected revenues of $8,937,129, and projected operating expenditures of $1,648,239. Projected salaries and benefits is $4,013,512. The total projections through June 30th, 2015 is $889,332, leaving us a projected cash balance at the end of June 30th of $2,609,718, with a surplus of $247,665. In the road fund, the actual cash balance at July 1, 2014 was $120,460. The revenues to date are $274,117. Operating expenditures to date is $130,538.94. Salaries and benefits to date are $530,500, leaving us an actual cash balance of a negative $266,462. This is due to that cash transfer that needs to take place, took place in December. Projected transfers in are $666,432. Projected revenues through June 30th are $729,342. Projected operating expenditures are $223,471. Projected salaries and benefits are $767,699. The total projections through June 30th, 2015 are $404,603, leaving us a projected cash balance of $138,141 and a surplus of $457. In the correction fund, the actual cash balance at July 1, 2014 was $26,163. Our revenues year-to-date are $385,443. Operating expenditures to date are $212,751, and salaries and benefits to date are $838,646, leaving us an actual cash balance at the end of November of $639,791. And again, this is due to a cash transfer that will take place. And the
Question on that, please. I see the correction fund and operating expenditures year-to-date, a decrease this last year, and what was that? Good job, Mike, or what?
It's probably a lot of the overtime. Oh, this is operating expenditures. I don't know, Mike. Probably your feeding the prisoners, because we...
Even that, Mike, or
No, now that we have that contract
we are
with...
saving money there?
Yes.
Good job, Mike.
Okay, the projected transfers in are $1,670,263. Projected revenues are $574,096. The projected operating expenditures are $436,109. The projected salaries and benefits are $1,168,421. The total projections through June 30th are $639,830. And the projected cash balance at the end of June 30th is $39.
Any other questions? Okay. Guess we're going on to E. Oh, no, D.
Item E, this is approval of letter of support for health council legislation. And Christine, do you want to come up and explain to them the purpose of the letter and what you hope to accomplish with this legislation?
Glad to. No. There you are. Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. Yes, this is the Senate Bill 79 that will be, has been filed by Senator Morales. There will be a House bill filed shortly, we hope, by a representative. And the idea of this is to help restore health council funding. Health councils were defunded almost 5 years ago now. And throughout the state, as many of you know, they suffered. Many of them went away. Here in Grant County, we're very, very lucky to have had support from the community, the hospital, the county, to keep doing the work we've been doing. So what we hope to accomplish with this is, of course, get our legislators, even in the face of declining revenues, and we know that. There's optimism about this. Our New Mexico Alliance for Health Councils is kind of our advocacy arm, and they're now a 501c3 in the north, actually. But they have been working with the governor's office. They actually met with a couple of policy people who now understand, and we think we have a little traction there, that health councils can do the required work of the Department of Health as well, and they are boots on the ground. So even in the face of, some adverse conditions, we're hopeful that this will not be. Last year, it was line item vetoed, it was approved, it was passed and line item vetoed. We're hoping this year that it will not be, and we'll give partial funding to all the health councils, county and tribal. There are 33 across the country, yeah, seems like a country, across the state. Thank you.
I just want to thank you guys. You know, this past year and a half project that I've been on, I don't know what we've done without you guys and your work. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Do you happen to know which representative is going to drop that?
Yes, and I've been practicing her name all week. It's Representative Chilchis Chilech, Sharon from Farmington.
I can understand why you didn't say that the first time. And I'm not going to repeat
You
it.
want to say it slow?
Okay, so now EMS Annual Service Report, is that right?
Yes, item E will be for approval of the Department of Health EMS fund applications for Gila Valley EMS. Their application is amount of $24,300. Pinos Altos EMS, their application is in the amount of $3,000. Tyrone Volunteer Fire and Rescue, District 1, application in the amount of $10,000. Tyrone Volunteer Fire and Rescue, District 2, application in the amount of $7,600. Tyrone Volunteer Fire and Rescue, District 3, that application is the amount of $7,200. And these are annual applications that you see each year for this is how they fund for supplies and training.
No.
Next item F, approve the volunteer fire and rescue annual election of officers for Cliff Gila Volunteer Fire Department, Fort Baird, Lower Members, Pinos Altos, Santa Rita, Sapio Creek, Tyrone, Upper Members, and Whiskey Creek Fire Department. Those are included in your packets.
Is that Billy Ray?
Yes, it's gotta be.
I assume so.
I don't know any other Billy McCauley's out there, so I'm
I heard
assuming
he's
that's
pretty
him.
good with peanut butter in tennis shoes.
Actually, it wasn't peanut butter, but we won't go there.
You know, I was going over looking at all these names in this packet, and under F, as far as the volunteers are concerned, we're so fortunate to have people who step forward and give their time and money, their own money to keep us safe. So just congratulations to them. Pretty impressive. Not our money for office.
You sure?
So, G?
Okay, moving on, item G is approve, disapprove agreement A 15-01, New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. I'm going to leave out the long grant number for Operation Stone Guard activities. This is a grant in the amount of $255,638 for the Sheriff's Office. Is there anything you'd like to add, Marlo? I think this is pretty standard as well.
Talking to Jaime, he said he got another load, 250 pounds or something, down south. Yep.
Moving on to resolutions, item H, approve, disapprove resolution R 15-01, open meetings resolution for 2015. There's no changes to this from last year. We had a chance to look at that.
We're good with it?
Okay. Item I is approve, disapprove resolution R 15-02, a resolution adopting a travel policy relating to the reimbursement and travel for per diem and mileage expenses for public officers and employees of the county while on official county business. One of the first things that nearly every department brought to my attention was our concerns with the current travel policy that we had. So I took a look at that, looked at several other policies, state statute and administrative code, and rewrote the travel policy in its entirety. This brings it current with the mileage rate we should be paying pursuant to DFA regulations, as well as updating the policy with state statute. We were off in a few different areas, and hopefully it's clarified things for the departments, hopefully. It also coincides with the next item on the agenda of the P-card policy, which would allow the P-cards to be used for reserving hotel rooms, which has been an issue for employees
Which is
in the
purchasing.
past. The P-card.
Yeah,
But-
public doesn't know what a P card is.
Well, it's a county credit card that's used for specific purposes and has rules and regulations of what you can and can't use it for. And we did a lot of research and looked at other counties that utilize a similar purchasing card program, and most of them, well, all of them actually use that for travel-related purposes. The Wells Fargo program allows it for travel-related purposes, so that's what we've done, or tried to accomplish with this travel policy. So I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it, or any questions? No? Do you guys have any questions?
You guys had the opportunity to look at it?
I sent it to all of you. I didn't have your email address, but Steve, I should have sent it to you, but I'll send it to you again. Moving on, item J, approve, disapprove resolution R-15-03, adopting a purchasing card policy. This just all we did with this was just cleaned up the current policy that we had in place. One of the concerns was being able to use the P-card for travel-related purposes. And once again, that correlated with the guidelines that were actually in the Wells Fargo program, which is who the county's contracted with. There were some other discrepancies between the county written policy and the Wells Fargo policy, so we cleaned that up, made those things match. It was simple things like one said you couldn't buy office supplies, the other one said you could. Cleaned that up to where it all matches and coincides, so if you read one policy, the other policy reads the same. The other thing that I did add to this was some additional disciplinary action and consequences for violation of the P-card policy. It basically was a slap on the hand that, well, you don't get to use it for a month and you don't get to use it for 2 months. There wasn't any strong language in there about if you do violate the provisions of the policy that you as that individual are responsible for payment of that. And if you don't voluntarily pay for that, then we can take that out of your paycheck. And hopefully that will get some people's attention that these are public funds we're spending and it's just not a free-for-all. So that is all that we did with that policy, was just clean it up a little bit.
Well, we know this has been a hot subject in several other boards in the community. So, along with this policy, I know that we probably need to clean up, how many cards do we have out?
There's a page and a half, I didn't count how many cards we have out. There's a page and a half of purchasing cards that have been issued to numerous employees, volunteers throughout the county. One of the items that was brought forth in our audit was cleaning up and tightening up on the amount of P cards and the limits that are out there. What happens with the P card is a lot of times you're violating what state statute says about having a requisition and encumbering those funds prior to spending them. With the P card, you're not actually doing that. So we'll be looking at the number of cards that are issued for each department as well as the limits, and then be looking at maybe changing up the method in which you probably will be required to get purchase orders for places that you will be using that card for. So you can't just periodically whip it out of your wallet and buy a handful of screws or a ream of paper at Walmart or whatever it is that you're using. You still need to plan your expenses. It just tries to make it a little bit easier and less cumbersome, but we have to follow state law, and we're kind of we're a little in the gray area on that, and I honestly don't want to have these guys have to explain to the public like some of the other local entities are happy to. So we're going to take a look at that, and I'll be getting with each one of you individually on that. Any other
The auditor
questions?
in the newspaper basically said it with the other board that was in trouble was they were able to beg for forgiveness rather than ask for permission for purchases, and that's not going to cut it, so.
No, that's something we lived with when I was in the city and in the state. And I know I used to need $1.50 to go mail a package to the FBI lab, and I had to go get a PO and get it and go through it was a headache.
Do we have a limit on POs? Does the state have a limit on POs, or is everything in a PO?
You can set, there's state statute, but your limits can be stricter than, and our policy is pretty outdated. That'll be the next one we tackle, is rewriting our procurement policy. It's extremely old and outdated, but these were the most pressing items, was the travel and the purchasing card. And so then we'll look at the big policy and try to make it a little, it's not very user-friendly either. So we'll get that updated as well.
Proactive rather than reactive thinking, I like that.
Okay, next.
Next item is disapprove Resolution R-15-04, approving an application to New Mexico Finance Authority under the Colonias Infrastructure Fund for the North Curly Road. Anthony, do you want to explain this one?
Good morning. Mr. Chairman, Commissioner. There's actually a recommendation from Priscilla that we pursue this. What we wanted to do is kind of take a break from North Hurley, because Earl's got the Rosedale project this coming year, but she felt that the funding, because of the gasoline and the funds that are coming from the oil revenues, potentially could decrease the amount of overall revenues to the Colonias fund. She felt that this would probably be the best time to try and get construction monies for North Hurley area. They are 100% funded. It's all grant funding that comes for road projects, and so I think that we decided that we would actually put in for two projects. We still wanted to do the one entire road for the ADA compliant sidewalks, but she felt that we also wanted to put this one in because it was going to be a large project, and so we went ahead and put North Hurley in. We're doing applications right now. I was going to do in my report. That's what we're working on right now. But I think that Priscilla's right in that there's probably going to be the largest amount for the next few years this year. So I think it's probably better that we apply this year.
Well, I will agree with the second whereas, because what's happening is the shoulder is being eroded away, and there's 8 to 10 inch drop-offs here and there. We have a lot of bus stops up and down the North Hurley Road, and it's rough on tires, and so I personally think this is something that definitely needs to be done.
Well, through the preliminary engineering that we've done, we've found out that the North Hurley Road is being used as one of the major entrances to the town of Hurley, and so the amount, the volume of traffic that's in there, I really couldn't believe. It's close to 3,000 cars per day. We didn't count it, but engineers did their traffic count for the engineering report.
So besides what Sheriff talked about, what other work you're going to be doing in those two areas?
There's going to be a complete revamp of the drainage in the area, trying to get currently the roadway dumps all the drainage onto the adjoining properties, and then sometimes in their driveways. So we're going to redo the drainage. We're going to try and run some of that drainage underground to get it into to nearby natural drainages. We're going to redo the roadway, try and make the shoulders a little bit more friendly for traffic on and off. There's going to redesign the intersection right there, the one that comes off of 180, right there by the Ben Hummel, and then do some redesigning right there where I think it's just Main Street or something meets with North Hurley Road right there in Chinatown, so, there's quite a bit of work to be done. In Tyrone, all of those intersections, are, currently, we have curb and gutter, but there are no ADA ramps, and so, that's what we're gonna try and do, is try to, put the ramps there for the elderly and for people that have,
Is that the whole community there, or just on the main road?
it's pretty much all the roads in North Hurley are currently maintained by
No,
Grant
Tyrone.
County. And in Tyrone, they're currently owned or maintained by Grant County, and so that includes the sidewalks and the drainages.
Each corner would get a ramp,
That's correct.
and
In order to be,
that yellow material probably that's
I don't know how people in a wheelchair go over that stuff. It's
not supposed to keep it from crossing, right?
yeah, in order to be compliant, they don't have to have it.
like going out of Walmart, if you got eggs in the bottom of your cart, you better pick them up because they're going to break.
Well, and I think it was several years ago, the state of New Mexico kind of reminded the counties that it's their responsibility to meet the ADA, the American Disabilities Act, and so that's what we're trying to get those done. They didn't really put a mandate on how quickly you had to do it, but we're still trying.
Okay. I guess that's it. He kind of went through Tyrone too. Okay. We're going to move into county reports, and we're going to go a little bit out of order today because I know that Randy has some guests here today, so we'll start with you, Randy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Just real quick, want to introduce Cindy McLean, who's our DWI coordinator. The State of New Mexico Department of Finance Administration will do an audit on the DWI program, and they will audit the records for the second and third quarter. So I'd like to introduce a couple of people. Obviously Cindy, Lucy Kelly, who's the DWI program manager, and Mr. Daniel Montoya, who is quality assurance manager from the state of New Mexico. And so Cindy, I'll let you take over from there.
Good morning. How are you guys? Thank you. As Randy said, we are being audited. We are audited about every 3 years. That's in the normal time frame. Lucy Kelly is my program manager, and Daniel Montoya is the auditor. And
You're from DFA?
DFA, Local Government Division. That's who handles our money. So I don't know if you guys, you have those questions?
I do have those questions, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to come this afternoon because of some other things I need to be doing. But I know that you had some questions for the commission, and one of the questions is how active is the county in the day-to-day work of the DWI program? I can tell you that as commissioners, we don't do a lot with the day-to-day program, but the manager and the rest of the staff, including Cindy, are intimately working with the DWI program virtually every day. As commissioners, we sit as a policy-making board, and we do approve or disapprove contracts, employment contracts, other contracts that have been gone through by the manager and the county attorney. But prior to that, the next question was describe the support provided by the county. We support the DWI program in the respect of a lot of in-kind. We give them office space with utilities. We do all their repairs and maintenance. We also provide supervision for the DWI program, whether it be through purchasing and personnel, whatever it may be. We're very proud of our DWI program. We think we've done an excellent job here in Grant County. The last question that you had for the commission was, does the county provide legal review of documents and contracts? So I guess I already stepped on that one a little bit. But yes, Abby is the county attorney, Abby Robinson, and she scrubs every document that comes through. In fact, we send some back to you for changes. So those were the questions you had for me, so I hope that that'll excuse me from this afternoon's opening conference. Do you have any other questions for us?
not offhand. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay, I'm a little. And I'd like to thank you for taking the time. This is the third time I audit the Grant County DWI program. And this is my, the county I use as sample for other counties. When I see other counties need help in certain areas, I sort of look to this county to use as an example. It's a good county. I enjoy working with Cindy. I checked some data back from 2003 to 2013. Yes, and I determined a weighted average like alcohol abuse for mid, high, and high school students decreased like 60% based on the YRRS data. And I'm starting to look at that trend for all the counties now to see if they have improved on alcohol use and abuse for students. And if counties haven't improved, I will ask, well, what is the county going to do to improve those numbers? That's what I will ask if I see that those numbers haven't improved.
You know, we go through the numbers. In fact, I have the newest set right here. Cindy went through those with us just last week. But one of the things I think, when I was talking to the detention center administrator earlier today, I asked him how many came in for DWI on New Year's Eve, and he was like, just a couple, not very many. And that's always a good thing, so.
Correcantinas is very impressive in this county, where they take people that have drank alcohol and they offer them a ride. That is very good. Do you have anything to say? Do you guys have any questions? Or?
Yes, but just to add, I know that in the different projects that I have worked on in this past couple of years, is that it's not uncommon for me to call Cindy as a resource for those projects. And you ask for it, you'll get it, and it's really thing. But they're very excellent and put together, and we use them. So she's a resource for the county also.
And when I have worked with Cindy, I think like 40 hours on this audit prior to coming out here. I request data from her and she scans it or sends it to me, questionnaires and all. So the finances that I requested from her, I didn't have any questions on and they were all okay. I noticed that internal controls were in place by the data I requested. I requested a few additional documents which she provided to me today. And it's all looking good so far.
Good.
Now, after what has been said, we have to work with her.
Get through the room, the door.
We anticipate a nice, clean audit, so. Okay. Thank you guys very much for coming
Thank you
out.
for your time.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it.
Good job, Cindy.
Thank you.
So Randy, you want to go ahead and finish that short report up?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So, with that being said, again, I think Cindy runs a pretty good, real good program, and I think it benefits our community, and also when you look at our surroundings with Luna County and Hidalgo County, working with them as well. On the other issues with Public Works, the airport boutique areas is flying. They've had their first 4 flights yesterday. I thought there was only going to be 2, but from what I understand now, there's 4. We've been in communications, Justin and I, with the staff over there. Also, the guy by the name of Matt Butcher, who's the director of operations. We're looking at some things. They want to actually do a little bit more than just fly out of there. They might want to think about leasing some space from us, whether it be on the hangar side, if we had them available, which right now we don't. Some of the pilot's lounge, they want to, see about leasing some of that to maybe have their pilots stay the night. So we're going to work with those, also working with Charlene on that to make sure that we're all on the same page of what we're trying to do. The fuel.
Do you have time tomorrow to go down and take me through those buildings so I can see what's there and what they look like?
Yeah, that was going to be my suggestion, to maybe get...
Manager would like to join us, or? Or I don't know what your schedule is, but tomorrow's good for me. Oh, okay, so
But I think at some point, Mr. Chairman, that's what we were going to try to do, is take a look at it, give you or the commissioners and the county manager another run-through, now that we've got fuel, and we've also got, flights coming out of Silver City to Albuquerque. The fuel farm is up and running. We've got some issues with the card machine, but right now we can load manually, and we're going to do that if we have to. We've had some issues with CenturyLink. I'm trying to get them, to do the right things. It's been about a 4-week process, and we've dealt with everybody. We've finally decided to just go up a little bit above the ladder and see if we can get some answers, and we finally have. So we're hoping to get that card swipe fixed properly. We've had some expenditures that we weren't expecting, but that's what happens when somebody shuts down and goes to bankruptcy and kind of, in my opinion, maybe sabotage a little bit of the stuff to try to keep us from getting, but that's another story. But I think we're on the right track now. We're doing the right things. We finished, we had a minor incident at the airport, which we just got through done sealing the runway. We had some damage out there. We're hoping to get that fixed. It's not going to cause any problems with the flights that are coming in now. The striping and the painting's all been done. So we're on the right track over there. We've done some things. We've moved the office to be closer to the fuel farm so people can be ready if they need to deliver fuel. And so I'll just keep updating you on that as we go, and obviously our county manager, and make sure that she knows what's going on, working with Justin on that. On some of the other issues, shooting range, we're hopefully wrapping up that that project that's just taken us a little bit longer. Then the weather hit, we were just about to wrap it up, and then we had some snow. So that's another issue. We're just trying to get all the snow off the walkways that are on the north side that won't get the sun. It's supposed to be warm today. We're hoping that would clear up most of our buildings, and working hard with Public Works and some of the courts that send us people to work on cleaning those areas up. So other than that, happy holidays or happy new year. And I look forward to working with everybody this year in 2015. So unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
Nope, you're all set. Okay, Chris, did you have anything further you wanted to add today? Then why don't you go ahead and do it now?
Just very quickly, having already talked about the legislative piece, wanted to let you know, and I think that I did email reminder invitations. We are holding Health Council reception for Charlene on Monday at long last, and we're saying she's not new anymore. But it's an opportunity for her to meet the wide array of our sector representation on our Health Council. We have 27 different sectors represented. It will be from 1:30 to 2:30, right before our quarterly meeting, which is at 3 to 5 in these chambers. So all of the county folks that are here, please come. There will be catering, wonderful catering by GRMC out front, and proves to be, I think, a valuable experience for our Health Council. And we're fortunate that she knows and understands Health Council, so we're looking forward to that and hope you can come.
Repeat the date and time for everybody.
Monday, January 12th, 1:30 to 2:30, and the meeting is here from 3 to 5.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Brian, what's happening at the hospital? Good morning, Holly. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Commissioner and Chairs, or Mr. Chair and the Commissioners. A couple things I want to update you really quickly, and then a kind of a question I'd like to throw out and answer for y'all. I want to catch up first on the finances for month of November. We're always at kind of a month back. Month of November, we had a positive bottom line again, $281,000, and so year-to-date, we're at $1.1 million positive bottom line as of the end of November. So our turnaround continues, a lot of hard work by a lot of people, and we're sitting at about 138 days of cash. I want to also take a moment to thank, we have a couple new medical staff officers. I want to first thank Dr. Wachuku, who's been our Chief of Staff for the last 4 years, along with Dr. Lash, who's been our Secretary-Treasurer. Their terms were up, and replacing them is Dr. Corey as our Chief of Staff and Dr. Troxler as our Secretary-Treasurer. Our Vice Chief of Staff remains Dr. Williams, and we want to thank the outgoing officers for a lot of serious work and welcome the incoming officers. I want to also remind this group in the community, a project that we've been started talking about a month ago that we've been doing our due diligence around, is the start of a family practice, and that was approved by the board. We are scheduled to open up a family practice around March the 1st. That is no new practitioners to the area. That this is going to be started with Dr. Stanley, who's been a long-term physician in this area, and a nurse practitioner, Cindy Moreno. So that practice is going to be called HealA Family Medicine, and it's really a key to the hospital's future. In many areas across the country, physicians are looking to partner with hospitals in employment models for various reasons. Many of them are having a hard go out there in this increasingly challenging healthcare environment. But also some of the Affordable Care Act elements that are going to come into play over the next couple of years require hospitals and physicians to collaborate very closely. And so partnering with a family practice will position HealA Regional to be more successful in the future. So this is really not just adding a practice or adding, a couple people in a service line. This really prepares HealA Regional for the future changes in healthcare. This is a big change for the healthcare community. I want to just update you. We've been talking about for the last 6 or 9 months about the transition of our emergency department physician providers, our medical practice providers. It's one of the area that HealA Regional has received numerous complaints over across the years, and that transition was complete on midnight, December 31st. Our new group is called Innova, and they have a different model, a different approach to providing medical practice services, and we are really excited about our partnership moving forward. I want to let you know that from a government relations standpoint, our committee is ramping up significantly for the upcoming legislative session, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you guys about issues that come up and being there to support and share information and share perspective from the hospital. So we're excited about that event again. I want to let you know that we're starting an assessment, kind of a reassessment of a capital construction project that was looked at a couple years ago, and then it grew, I think, beyond the needed scope at that time. But we'll be re-looking at the labor and delivery space, the nursery space that we do not feel is adequate for our new mothers, and also the space associated with that is our operating room recovery space. So we'll be doing that reassessment over the next several months, and then talking to the board about moving forward in phase 2, potential construction in those areas, and of course looking at finance options and all that. But small scale, it will not be a master facility project approach again. The last thing I wanted to throw out there, before the last thing, I just want to also kind of let people know we're extremely busy at HealA Regional with all the project work, the quality work. We're also updating our entire information systems, which, as probably many of you know, is a massive project for an organization. Our present system is beginning to become antiquated. That, in addition to the new regulations around reporting and IT integration, we're doing a complete upgrade of our entire IT system. So big, massive projects going on, and that leads me into our kind of a discussion quality. I wanted to address a report that came out in the newspaper, originally put forward by the Kaiser Foundation, and offer the opportunity for further questioning around that. Essentially, hospitals get measured across many domains, and the measure set that they were talking about in that article was 10 measures of hospital-acquired infections, and the government is now imposing penalties if you don't meet national averages. And this started about 4 years ago, and the measures in question come from the period of time between July 2011 to June 2013. So a 2-year period a couple years ago, we were being measured, and we knew it as an organization. And again, I won't speak to the approach at that time, but I will say that too many hospitals across the country chose the approach that, well, the penalties are so low that for whatever reason, we're not going to prioritize that. So too many hospitals chose that approach, and now the penalties are starting to hit from that period, and they will, continue to go on into the future. So I can't speak to the approach at Hill Regional at that time, but I will say too many hospitals made that decision to not prioritize it. I want you guys to know, and our community to know, that we do not have that approach. Quality is number one priority in our organization. Everything revolves around quality. Even the financial turnaround was based in quality services first, quality systems and processes first. That's where you get your financial return. So we have a completely revamped approach to our quality systems, and as time goes on, that will be demonstrated in our scores as they continue to improve. But at that time, out of the 10 measures, there were 2 measures that we were above the national averages on, and that's what created the penalty for us at that time. And I stand for questions.
No, just one was the infection question, and I think you answered it well. It was, someone reads it, and it was damaging, and I had people call me on it, and so thank you for addressing that.
And as you've done in the past, please, you can always refer them to me, and I'd be glad to speak to them, clarify. Yes, I appreciate that. And I will say this, these articles come out, and there's a lot of press, and they can be interpreted as they are. I personally support what the government is doing around penalizing areas of concern. It's been talked about in healthcare for 30 years. And until the government decided to impose penalties, for whatever reason, hospitals, healthcare organizations were not prioritizing things, not all hospitals, of course, but as they should. So if that's what it takes to, get people's attention, I support it. I also support the transparency movement in healthcare. For too long, things have been secret and, proprietary. So we personally in Hill Regional support and commit to standing, I think, strong in this new environment of transparency. And you will see over time, our organization and our community, I think, will be very confident in what's going on by objective measures, not just by opinion.
And then just last thing, Brian, if I may, Chair. On collections, are we looking pretty good there now? I knew at the beginning it was one of the big issues, and how are we looking now?
That issue has been completely resolved and has maintained that resolution. As you remember, we were up to about $20 million in uncoded charts. So it didn't even get to our billing department yet. And now the industry standard for a hospital our size is around 4 to 7 million should be waiting to be coded. And we're at about 5 to 6. So that took us a couple months to get our hands around that project, and we've maintained it ever since.
Great. Well, I for one want to applaud the Board of Trustees and management for going ahead and opening the family practice. I think that choice is always better than less choice, obviously, and that's one of the unintended consequences of the ACA was we got less choice, and at least here in Grant County we did. And I'm very happy that you guys went ahead and did that. So I think that's all I have. Okay, you too. All right, we'll move on. How about Mike?
Mr. Chairman, committee members, I'd like to respectfully submit my report for December 6th through December 26th, 2014. Item number 1, our policies updates remain the same. Detention facility upgrade, we currently have 1 vacancy. Item number 3, on our assessments, we're continuing to staying up with the assessments and the changes to stay in compliance. What we're seeing is across the board and across the state, a lot of policies and procedures are changing as far as detention is concerned, so we're trying to stay up with those and so we can remain in compliance. Item number 4, our training update. What we're prioritizing right now is the ICS. We're trying to get our detention officers, those are online, the 1 and 300 ICS. We're trying to do those online for them now, so we're getting those scheduled. And then for the remaining supervisors, we're probably going to need to call somebody in to have those done because those require a trainer to come down and do those. So we're trying to get those scheduled right now. We're trying to look at a trainer to come in and get those, the remaining 400 to 500, 700 for the remaining for the supervisors. So that's what we're prioritizing as far as the training is concerned. On our intervention, the Inmate Support Program, Association of Counties has contacted our subgroup, and they're interested in the program and they would like more information. So we sent them the information that we have on the support program, and hopefully they'll be able to support us with that, and so we can continue on. On our recognition program, we're currently receiving nominations for Employee of the Month. On number 7, our detention statistics, the average daily population for the month of December 6th to the 26th, the average daily population was 40. It's 15 less than last month. High population males was 53, which is 7 less than last month. High population females was 9, 2 less than last month. For the month of December 6th to the 26th, there were 56 inmates, which is 2 less than last month, incarcerated in the facilities. And this shows a slight decrease in the activity. What I put in there for you this month was kind of a snapshot of a yearly census report. For the reporting period of January 1st, 2014 through December 26th of 2014, there was 1,785 males incarcerated. There were 704 females incarcerated, and you combine the totals of 2,489. Inmates released during that reporting period were 2,446. Reporting days were 360 days. The average length of stay was 22.73 days. The average daily population was 77.8. And statistics for inmates held more than 24 hours. There were 916 males, 285 females, for a total of 1,201. And the average length of stay was 23.56 days. Our monthly agency arrest totals for the month of December 2014, SCPD had 92. New Mexico State Police had 6, Grant County SO had 16, Santa Clara had 6, Baird had 1, and Hurley PD had 1. And our detention facility conducted 23 district court transports. Magistrate Court had 10, Division 1. Division 2, we had 5. Silver City Municipal Court had 10, and the remainder of the courts were zeros as far as our transports are concerned. So the total number of transports for the month of December were 48 as compared to 34 for last month. And the last item is our utilization and occupancy. Felony levels, we had 12 felonies, 29 misdemeanors, and probation violations and warrants total 63 for 104. And the total hours in custody were 5,715 hours. And the sentencing shows a decrease compared to last month. That's my report.
Any questions for Mike?
Just one, Mike, last month we talked about the assessments and versus the courts and such. How's that coming? Is it coming along? Are we shortening the length of stays because of the assessments are being done locally now?
Yes, actually, I got a hold of La Frontera, and we did. I called them up. They had a slight delay on being able to do those assessments, so they're going to come on board on the 12th, and they're going to routinely start on the 12th of this month. They had some issues with some of the stuff that they were going through, and so they had to kind of put us on the back burner for a little bit, and now I contacted them, but I can tell you that the 2 instances that we had that were emergency instances, I called them up, and there was no excuses. They got some people there right away, and the way they did that, it absolutely, I believe, is going to shorten everything, and it's going to help us tremendously.
Were they able to find space for them, adequate space?
They were able to find space, and Brian is not here, but I also would like to, on those situations, I called Brian, and he was extremely receptive as far as our needs were concerned, and I think with both organizations working together, I think that's really going to help us a bunch.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, pretty much business as usual down there. We've been pretty busy for the last couple of weeks, cleaning the snow and the mud. We are out of salt right now. I'm trying to get some in, but, I don't know when it's gonna be. From what I understand, that mine over where we get it got flooded out, and they're scrambling too, so worst comes to worst, I'm sure I can talk to, New Mexico DOT and get some help from those guys. I'm not too much worried about it.
Probably don't want to hear that, do you?
I know we've got some, but it's
Lay there at night thinking potholes, huh?
yeah, it's too cold right now anyway to do anything.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets warmed up, we'll get caught up.
I haven't got any calls on them, so that's good, huh?
I got a call from somebody down Quail Ridge and told me what an exemplary job y'all did getting the snow cleared off. I'm like, that's not the call I expected to get. So apparently you guys got after it and got it done in a hurry, so.
I guess it's important that, when you use that lady riding her bike, fell in the pothole and sued people, and, man, scary. Shouldn't have said that, brought up
Predetermined, what do they call it? Predestiny here?
Go buy me a bike.
Thanks, Earl.
I'll take that back.
Anthony, what's going on?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner. Guys, like I said, we're working on our CONUS applications right now, and that's our main objective, plus our capital outlay. I just completed the surveys for capital outlay. I'll get those to Priscilla so they can turn those in. Also, there's a public hearing for the colonias today at 5 o'clock. That's a requirement before applications. We have that public hearing. I would like to mention also that Daniel Arayan and Ray Castillo have been doing an exemplary job in there. They've come a long ways in a very short time. As far as I can tell, they are meeting all of the requests from our residences, trying to get caught up with some of the things that were kind of getting left behind when Violet and Dory decided to retire. So I would like to give those guys the credit due, and they've been working hard. They had some issues getting started, but they're doing a really, really good job in there now. So I would like to give them, I also would like to mention that the Interstate Stream Commission did send a letter to the Secretary of Interior for the AWSA for a potential diversion project. That has been done. The Gila San Francisco Water Commission did make a request to the Interstate Stream Commission to become the CAP entity, which would be the entity that actually manages and takes care of the Mexico unit. We are working also on our assessment districts. As soon as we get through the capital outlay and to the colonias applications, I'll be making applications for the assessment districts to New Mexico Finance Authority. Last time we kind of put the cart before the horse. The assessment district was already done before the loan application had gone through, so we're going to get an early start on it and make sure everything's in order, so that we can get those assessment districts done as soon as we can get rolled. I don't know. We still have to decide on what part the Grant County is going to play in the overall construction and the materials and all that kind of stuff. But I'll speak with the commissioners about it, and then we'll have to make that decision later on in the process. But we're still working on it. Just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that after our last meeting, I did get some calls on what's next and what are we going to do next, and so we have
Wind Canyon and
Loma Verde. But that's all I got, unless you guys have any questions.
I'm good. Okay. Sheriff.
Just want to report, we had a fairly busy holiday month of December, and the staff really stepped up and did really well with the calls for service. With the snow we had, we were quite busy with that, dealing with accidents and stuff like that. So I want to thank my staff for the job that they did during these holiday Also, I just want to report that we are having a use of force training that's going to be done tomorrow for my staff. And actually, we put this on, and we got an instructor to come in from Doña County free of charge to the county. So we're going to take care of them as best as we can, thanking them for what they're doing and with this training. We've also invited all the municipalities in the county to participate in this training with everything that's going on nationwide in regards to the use of force and stuff with law enforcement. This is coming in at the right time, so we're going to participate in this and hopefully get some good knowledge out of the use of force. Also, I will be attending the legislative session in the end of the month. There is 22 new sheriffs in the state of New Mexico that are coming in, so we're looking at, they did go through a training last month that was put on by the sheriff's affiliate, and there's some interesting individuals that we'll be working with, so I look forward to working with them, and we'll see how that works out. Other than that, I have nothing else to report unless you have any questions.
Well, I appreciate you taking the incentive to going ahead and doing the use of force. That's something that, obviously any news channel you turn on, they're talking about it, and then the profession of law enforcement's really coming under a lot of fire right now. So here in Grant County, I've always been very proud of you and your department, and I never hear of any of those type of issues. So I think it's great that you've taken that initiative.
And I would echo that.
So, Mr. Assessor, the new one. So I want to welcome you. And that pretty green tie? Okay. Ron needs an eye evaluation. And we're glad you're here. And you see how we're all getting along, and we anticipate you falling right into that fold. And so, have your report.
Well, thank you very much, Chairman, board members. I'm looking forward to working with all the elected officials, department heads, and it's going to my second day and a half in office.
You might speak up, Mary Alice can't hear you. I don't have mic, so there's no mic.
No, there's no mic. I'll speak up a little bit louder. No, I'm looking forward to working with the elected officials and department heads, and I would like to state that my new chief deputy is Jennifer Barraza. She's worked at Silver Engineers Incorporated. She's also one of the engineers for PNM. And she also worked in the county assessor's office in the mapping department. And at this moment, we are doing an evaluation in the assessor's office. And like I said, I'm running out of hours a day. I sent her home yesterday to, get home, please. We got 4 years. So I will have a report on Thursday, and it will pretty much be a detailed report. And I am looking forward to meeting our new county manager and spending some time with her and just getting to know her. Thank you very much, and at this moment, I will yield on my report until Thursday.
That's amazing. Good job.
Thank you. Okay. Steve?
You have my report there. Since December the 8th of last year, we've collected a total of $816,271.88. I want to emphasize that this is the county's portion. I don't want to bog down everything with, countywide receipts. Yeah. So some people may say, well, you've only collected, just as an example, total collections are $6,948,133.06 for countywide. And here for this report, as of January the 5th, we're at $3,490,185.96, which is 61.62% of the total expected collections for the year. And emphasize that that's from November to January. So we've been pretty busy collecting a lot of taxes. So we still have another $2 million to collect between now and probably
June or July by the time it all trickles in, but hopefully it'll be, that's what's out there to get, so, unless
When's
you're...
the second half due, Steve?
May the 10th.
May 10th.
There's a little bit of confusion. The state statute says that the first half is due November the 10th. That actually is the due date, and April the 10th for the second half. But there's a 30-day grace period that people have, that they can pay that bill without penalty and interest. So starting on December the 10th, or actually the 11th, is when penalty and interest is applied for the first half. And the same thing for the second half. It's due April the 10th and past due after May the 10th. So they have until May the 10th. So, and that's when we add the penalty and interest for that, so.
I'm glad you went through that for the audience.
And that's, we've been getting a lot of questions. In the past, our bills stated December 10th instead of November 10th. So I think this is attributed to some of the increased collections in November, and it's actually seems to be helping the consumers, if you want to call them that, because they were able to plan a little better their payments, is what they've told us. So I'm glad we're getting this straight, because sometimes we wait till December the 10th and something happens and we don't get there, and then we get penalized. So that's been a big improvement in that. So unless there's any other questions or anything?
No, appreciate your report. Keep getting us that money. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You got a report to us today?
No, I'll wait till Thursday.
Right, okay. No report? Commissioner? No. Well, then this is going to be a quick one. The only thing I had was, we are going to have a Association of Counties meeting at in 2 weeks, so we will not have a meeting or a work session in 2 weeks. And I think that's all I had, so ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.